gravity is such a big player in the way interactions occur at the molecular level that when you can remove that, you can see the other dominating factors. And when you can see the other dominating factors, you can learn more about how to deal with things like cancers and other sorts of evolution within proteins and things of this nature. So from a research perspective, it's a huge boon because gravity plays such a big role on the ground. You learn so much on orbit. From a manufacturing standpoint, there's a number of reasons why manufacturing can benefit from this. There's a case, something referred to as Z-bland fiber. It's a fiber that when pulled in orbit, when you have no gravity, so there's no settling, you get this very homogeneous material. And in doing that, you get performances that are 100 times the capability of optical fibers made on the ground today. In fact, the performance is so high you can pass infrared through these fibers, and that's a huge market potential there.
But you've got to get the cost of getting there and getting back down, which
that's
is, I guess,
exactly
what this is
right.
part of.
That's exactly right. So our objective is to build a facility that's much lower cost, increase the access, and reduce the complications necessary that you typically have to go through today to fly. So we're building an environment that's plug and play when you get to orbit. We're going to have plugs like you have in your home and in your laboratory on orbit. It won't be special space flight connectors. The software will be like plugging into your laptop. You plug something in, the software will know what to do with it. The computers that we're designing for our module have they're kind of like your cell phone. They're very, very small computers, and when they get old, we're not going to go try to build that same computer. We're just going to go get the latest technology and fly it. And users can do the same exact thing. So it's these kinds of steps we're taking to drive the cost down and make access to.
But it sounds like you also make usability, like working in someone's office or something that's a lot more familiar.
Yeah, we're trying to drive all the costs down. So today, to build a piece of spaceflight hardware is an enormous expense because you're driven to space qualified parts and special specifications for spaceflight and things of this nature that come, rightfully so, from years of experience with human spaceflight. But what we have found over the years of working on ISS, that there are critical functions that you have to worry about and protect for. The environment, for instance, you've got to hold pressure in the shell, and so we'll build that to the normal space qualifications that you normally have to. But all of the research stuff is not spaceflight critical, so we can use components on the ground to the maximum extent possible, or those that you can buy on the ground, and all you have to do is
just pick the stuff up at Costco, is what you're saying?
Absolutely. In fact, when I left the ISS program, that was how we were buying our laptops at the end. We were not making any modifications. We were buying them basically, not at Costco, but on the internet. We bought the exact computer we want. We bought them and flew them, and that was a departure from where we had been doing for years for laptops on ISS.
Now, what is there's so much effort going into space tourism as well. I'm thinking of Richard Branson's efforts in particular. What is the role of space tourism in this new space station you're building?
And that's a great question because you hear about that a lot. You hear about individuals, wealthy individuals that have flown to ISS. There's a handful of those that have done that. And so there is a market for that. Of course, what Branson is doing and Blue Origin is really giving people opportunity at a very low cost, in my opinion, to see the curvature of the Earth. But you experience a very, very short period of microgravity and you have a limited view, although you get to see the blackness of space. And there's other ventures doing that, the balloon idea that you've seen folks promoting as well. So tourism on orbit is still something people want to do. They want to spend time, they want to experience microgravity environment, they want to get over feeling ill for the first few hours, and then really have that view, see the world, and to be able to talk about it while you're up there and spend quality time. So there is that market, and that is part of the market that we will...
What does it have to do with the size of what you're building then? How big is it going to be?
You just have to be able to accommodate them, give them a good view, a good place to stay. Our particular module will house 7. We'll have 7 crew quarters, we'll have life support for 7 crew, and we're doing that because we want to be able to choose from any of the commercial providers for access to space, and the largest one today is a version of the Dragon. They intend to have 7 crew, and so we'll procure that service, put 7 crew in, and accommodate them on orbit.
And then what's the life expectancy of your space station?
Well, we're going to build it. It'll have each structure will be built to 30 years, and we expect to be able to extend that. But what is unique about our space station, it starts off as a module at ISS, and the next components come up before ISS retires, and the whole thing separates. And then all of the components, all the major components will be able to be replaced. So we theoretically could stay in orbit forever, but it's a kind of evolvable design. So if manufacturing takes off, which I think it will, we can have a special module just for manufacturing. And if the airlock gets old, it's been up there 40 years, we can't extend the life, we can throw that airlock away and put a new one up there. So we expect to be, we're building a design that's evolvable and essentially can stay in orbit indefinitely.
Legos in space, it sounds perfect.
Very similar to Legos in space, except that middle Lego that everything attaches to, that's the most challenging one, but we call it the node, but even that one will be able to be replaced.